Welcome to Draw Process. I'm Ike, drawing pages of my comic books here. You'll see 46 episodes of this that'll be coming out weekly while I draw First Son and Sword number 3. 45 interior pages plus the cover. We're on page 7 today. And here's the finished page. We're going to go from the wide panel at the top to the wide panel at the bottom. Those are kind of grouped together. They're the capstone and the foundation. So we've got arriving at the village at the top, and then Son dancing with a girl in the village at the bottom. And all these little panels in the middle are just quick little moments showing them getting from point A to point B. I'm really breaking it down, making it the most straightforward possible. Every page is about getting from point A to point B. And I want to get a long distance. So I'm just, how small can I go, and how much can I show to get from that point A to point B that I want to create. Something new I was trying in this issue. I do have a test copy in hand of the printed book, and the printed book is smaller than the Bristol board that I work on, which is 11 by 17 inches. But the standard comic size that it is in print, it actually looks okay. I feel that I can still make out what's happening in those small panels, even on the printed size. It was a kind of experiment, a risk, and it worked for me. So a few things. One thing I'm thinking about is the reader's energy they have to spend, the attention they give. So there's an approach where you try to make everything very digestible, very easy to understand. It doesn't take a lot of energy. So if you had a paragraph in a panel, that's going to take a lot of focus, attention, and energy, right? The reader might get a little worn out and not want to do it. They may lose interest from that amount of energy. And yet, the energy is also the attention. It's why the reader's reading the book, is they want to give their attention to something. So you actually do want it to require their attention to some degree. You don't want it to be too easy. The fun is in reading it, right? You have a book, even like a traditional, a physical book, a novel. You have to read the whole thing to get the story, and that's, you want to. You feel like you've made an investment in the outcome, and of course, you don't want it to take too much energy. So, in my approach in this issue, the feel of it, you could say it has to do with the voice of it. It feels more literary than prior books. I'm not, for example, these houses are up on stilts. That's kind of odd. But I'm not highlighting for the reader, hey, look, this is odd. There's something here. What's this mystery about? There's not much attention given to that. But the reader is free to direct their attention through the panel, through the world, and they're gathering information, and they don't know what information is important yet, which means you better pay attention, because you're not sure what's going to be important. I think that's cool. That's a neat way to do it. Instead of let me show you exactly what to pay attention to. This is what's important. I'm going to make it easy on you. It's less immersive, perhaps. In real life, you don't know what's going to happen next. You just pay attention and see. And you can choose where to pay attention. And so with my panels, doing lots of panels, with like little moments, showing a lot of things in my panels. There's typically more than one figure There's an environment that has some amount of detail. I think it helps with that. Now, um, my style is also quite loose. It's quite sketchy. The background, the huts in the first panel, they're going to end up, as you'll see, they're not that detailed. You just get the sense of a village, and yet um, there is depth. It feels a bit like looking through a lens at a real world. You get the feeling of a real world, and I think the main reason for that is depth, and a style that at least creates some distinction of objects. So you get the sense of objects placed in space. Um, but it's as if this lens is blurry, that, like by things being drawn so loosely and sketchy that, um, you know, it's, it's not, I guess it's not, uh, I guess overtaxing the attention of the reader, too, because you're not sitting there looking at all these little details because there's no details there. Um, but you do want to look. I mean, it's these are hard things to talk about. In the least I can say, this is fascinating to try to describe and think about what are we doing when it comes to the attention of the reader, which is, both a currency, it's being spent, but it's also um, the fun, enjoyment comes out of that as well. What are we doing in sense of guiding the reader's attention, like kind of forcing their hand, look at this, look at this, look at this, versus inviting them in to explore. This book I think is more literary. It feels less like loud in your face. It's more like inviting you in to explore. There's a certain kind of nice reward to it. In a sense, I think it was a happy mistake because there's a good amount of mystery. It's a little bit dark compared to the prior two issues. The tone is different. It's a little more of a horror in a sense. Reminds me of the Temple of Doom was, in terms of tone, was out of place in a similar way. But this book also has a sense of almost like a detective story, because there's a mystery here and it's unfolding, and you don't know who to trust and what's going on, and you slowly discover it. So I think that the mystery element where you're kind of slowly discovering, I think that lends itself well to this approach, this style, this voice to this book that invites you to explore without just giving you as much. All very interesting to me, and I know that I stumble on my words, and I would encourage you to not be afraid to do that. Um, I think that we're way too focused on trying to get the right answer, trying to have it all together. Um, I this video series is great for me because I'm not really. I almost never write anything down that I want to talk about. I just turn on the camera and start talking. Uh, and what it allows you to see, um, as I'm reaching for describing things that I can't understand, I'm hoping to convey that I have a growth mindset, that I'm reaching for things, that's the pleasure in it. That's the and it also, by reaching, it sort of reveals um, you the contours of what I'm reaching for. Like somehow, like maybe you get it. You're like, oh, there is something there beyond our grasp. It That's cool. It reminds me of the style with this book. How this book might do that. Uh, Even the art style, which is sketchy. The idea is that there's something there that's real. It's beyond the grasp of the art. the lines on the page. Um, and I'm also aware that that by doing it in this approach, it not only reveals that there's something I'm reaching for that helps us find it, but it's this kind of vulnerability to, you have to be open to change and open to your mistakes. You know that I know that not only am I not knowing what I'm talking about, and it'll change week to week, but I'm revealing my flaws. You'll be able to notice ways that I am struggling, off the mark, missing the mark, going the wrong direction. Maybe that I'm not able to notice, because I'm in the bit. Like watching somebody. I don't know if you were a gymnast and you saw someone doing gymnastics. They're busy. They're trying to do the moves. You're able to watch them. Not me, but this is just a metaphor. But you'd be able to watch them and see, like, oh, they're messing up there. There's something. There's an issue here with their strength in this area or whatever. But the one performing is less aware, of those things. So I know that's happening too. And I think that is to your benefit and to my benefit, because I get to go back and listen to these videos. Sometimes I do. I don't know that I've actually gone back and listened to every one I've made, but I do sometimes go back and reflect on them, and it's even ones that are years back, and I can see it then. I can see, oh wow, I was, I don't know, struggling or missing the mark in some way, and I'm well aware that right now I'm missing the mark. In some sense, I'm talking about life, but I'm also talking about art. I'm talking about the comics that I'm making, that maybe you are too. Maybe you're here because you're an artist. That there's mistakes on every page. Every line I put down is a performance, and it reveals mistakes, flaws, and limitations, and ways that I'm maybe misguided. When lines are put down in the pursuit of maybe being too rigid, being a perfectionist, being too formulaic, too rigid, too performative, striving, fake. All these ways we talk about, ways that we can struggle. We do it in our art because it is a human endeavor. It comes from a person. And so developing yourself, your understanding of yourself, you developing yourself as a person is to develop, as an artist. I'm just very, very grateful for everything I have. I have the ability, the fact that I have the ability to draw pages at all. I see the flaws, I see ways that I keep improving, but the fact that I can do it at all is so nice. And so, yeah, I feel very grateful, but also it is a discipline. It is a commitment. Like, maybe there's a point when you start drawing and you just think that it's exciting. Maybe the project and the potential of it excites you as well. You're happy about what you can do, or maybe you're curious to test yourself and prove what you can do. But after enough time at it, maybe relationships follow a similar trajectory. But after enough time, I don't need to be drawing comics anymore. I don't have anything to prove. Um, it's not about the testing yourself even. I mean, there's opportunities to grow, but um, I don't know. I guess you're just you understand the you could grow in some doing something else, but this is just a cycle. Like the process of growth here is just one you could engage in. It's not the only one, and so to stick with it is a choice where it's like I am now going to let this thing define me. I'm now going to um, this is my life. This is what I will submit to. Spend my life on to some degree. Obviously, I've got a life beyond drawing comics, but yeah, that the point where it becomes no, this is a discipline that I maintain. Um, there's something really nice about that. I feel like reaching that point has given me a great. I don't even know. I mean, I've definitely got a peace about it. I've got a sense of playfulness and freedom I didn't have, but a responsibility, a duty. But it's like in a good way, a calling. You like accept your calling. Um, I guess sometimes it might be hard to tell the difference when you could hear one person talking about how uh, drawing comics, being an artist or whatever, a writer, it's their job. They get up, they sit down and do it. They may talk in that fashion and mean the same thing as the person that says it's a calling, it's a discipline, it's um, my purpose. It's not a job, right? They could mean the same thing, or they could go and they could be meaning it in a kind of a what I would consider like a bad direction, which is like I don't care about this. This is just to make money. This is a distraction, something to do. Um, that, and yeah, it's hard to tell by just what people say, just the words. But what reveals it, I guess, maybe how they say it, maybe the sense you get from them, but I guess the work too. Maybe the work would reveal it. The to not only to pay attention, to give attention to the work you're creating, but how are you paying attention? I guess it's possible to pay attention to work in a way that you're striving. You're under pressure. There's not curiosity. There's not fun. There's not a kind of openness to discovery. It's just grinding, and that would still be attention on it, focus, consciousness pointed on it. But it would be different than the other way, be an open way, and maybe the art itself would show that difference. I would think it would. That there would be a noticeable difference between the two. Um, I get that there's. It seems that the artists that tend to be highly celebrated and valued, I guess they do both. There's a high amount of discipline to the output, but there's also somehow there's that wink in the eye, that sparkle in the eye. They've got that something extra, right? They're bringing something creative, and you can tell they were finding something. They were trying to say something new. They somehow do both, I guess. Where I'm at right now, I'm not interested in putting any grinding into my work, any like amount of that kind of focus. Um, and I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws, grasping at language. But uh, I think that the way I've been drawing is I'm still improving every issue, every page that I complete, and if I don't know that I need to be grinding or highly disciplined or focused on that in that output kind of way. So then the controlling it kind of approach. So the way I'm approaching it seems to still allow for growth and produce interesting results to me. So I guess that's my evidence to me that I'm doing okay, so that I can keep on this path. At the same time, I don't know how I would do it any other way, because again, it's like life. From what I've learned in my whole life, I couldn't deny that. I couldn't go against what feels true and right, and about life. And that's the same way I feel about the art. This is what feels like the right way to live and the right way to do art for me. And I try to convey that to you in these videos, and spark, things in you that maybe you'll get inspired. You'll develop your practice, your art, your life in new and better ways, as I'm trying to do the same. And that's it. That's the finished page and the cover of the book, which is available on ikecomics.com. And I'll see you next week for page 8.